Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the different chains that you're going to find on just about every motorcycle, ATV, and possibly a side-by-side that's out there. It may be a daunting task. You've got an older machine where you don't have the specifications on it. What type of chain, and more importantly, what size chain are you going to need to order to get it replaced? Well, it's pretty simple to determine just by making a few simple measurements. And all I'm going to use is just a caliper. Now you can probably get away with just using a tape measure because everything's measured in either inches or 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch. So you can usually get pretty close to determine what you need. Let me go grab a pair of gloves so I can handle these, and then I'll show you how to get it measured properly. That way you can get the correct chain for your particular application. There are basically three different families of chains that we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to break them into series. You've got a 400 series, a 500 series, and then the 600 series. Your 400 series, that's what you're going to find on your smaller machines. The 500, that is going to cover the majority of them out there. It is right in the middle. You're going to find that on your motocross bikes, on your sport ATVs, things of that nature. The 600, that's when you step into the really high horsepower applications typically found on your sport bikes. Now the examples I have laid out in front of us are a 420, a 520, and then a 630. So let's grab the 420 and let me show you how they came up with those numbers. Now there are two basic measurements that you're going to need to take. One is the pitch, and the pitch is measured from the center point of each pin, and the width is measured in between here and here. So you're basically measuring the distance of this roller. Now the number on each one of these represents a combination of those two measurements. The first digit, whether it be 4, 5, or 6, that is the pitch, and that is measured in eighths. The second number is going to be your width, and that is also either measured in 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch. So let me show you what I mean. So let's take a look at our 420 chain, and we're going to look at pin to pin, the center of each pin, the best we can get to it. And this is all going to be in inches. That is going to be a 1/2 inch. So how does a 1/2 inch measurement correlate to 4? Well, let me show you. Let's look at a just standard measuring tape, and we want to focus in on the eighths. Now, how many eighths are there on a 1/2 inch? Let's count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is where they come up with the number 4 for this series chain. Now, if we head over to a 520, using our caliper, 0.625, and my math skills aren't that good, but it should work out to 5/8. Let's grab just a regular tape measure and count off the eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/8. That is where they're coming up with the 5. Now let's take a look at the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is, well, 6/8 would be 3/4. Now let's start back at our 420 chain and see how they determine that 20 number. 0.25, so 1/4 of an inch. So how many eighths is that? That would be 2. There's your number 2. Well, there you go. 4 for the pitch and 2 eighths for the width. Next, let's head back to a 520. As you could probably already guess, I'm betting that's going to be a 1/4 inch when we go to measure it. So even though there's a huge pitch difference, their actual width on the inside is going to be identical. 0.25. I know it's a bit of an optical illusion, but those two chains have the same width. Last, let's go to our 630. All right, right at 0.3755. So that should work out to about 3/8. This is almost easier to do with a tape measure versus a caliper. So let's count them off. 1, 2, 3/8. Now, Let's recap what we're looking at here. On our 4 series chain, you've got 4/8 for your pitch. For the 5 series, it's going to be 5/8. For the 6 series, it's going to be 6/8, or you're going to measure it at 3/4. That's how that works out. Now for the widths, our first 2 chains are actually identical. They're 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch, which is 2/8 increments. On our last one, which is the 630, we have 3 1/8 increments, or 3/8. Now, you're maybe asking yourself, well, John, my chain is a 425. How did they arrive at that number? The 5 designates an additional 1/16 of an inch, or a 1/2 of an eighth. So if this was a 635, it would go to 3/8 plus one more 1/16 of an inch. That is where the 5 actually comes from. Well, all right, guys, that pretty much wraps this one up. It's really easy to determine the measurements that you need for your particular application. But that opens up a whole new question. Which style chain do you want to use on yours? Well, is it O-ring or not O-ring? Or is it going to be endless, or is it going to have links? Now, you can tell my favorite by what's laying out on the table, but don't let that stop you from exploring our site, because we carry every manufacturer that's out there. So you go pick one that's going to work best for you. Me, I love the DID. They've been around for a long time, and they have a wide model range that's going to cover, well, basically every single machine that's out there. Listen, if you need these or any other parts for your ride, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, you like what you see? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can keep up with whatever I'm working on next. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.